What if the weight holding you down isn't your problems, but your possessions? And what if freedom doesn't begin with getting more, but with letting go? Hi, I'm Peter, and welcome back to Books for Thoughts, where we explore ideas that bring us closer to what really matters. This week, we're exploring what it means to live lighter, freer, and more intentional. In today's book, Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki isn't just about cleaning your room. It's about cleaning your life. It's about how saying goodbye to excess can open the door to peace, clarity, and even happiness. Most of us carry more than we realize, not just in our homes, but in our minds. Stacks of books we'll never read, clothes we don't wear, gadgets we thought would change everything, but just collect dust. We tell ourselves it's harmless. But clutter has a way of whispering to us, even when we don't notice. Every unused item is like an unfinished thought, a silent reminder of what we bought but never used, what we planned but never started. It creates a quiet, constant pressure. Sasaki reminds us that things aren't just objects, they carry weight. And when we hold on to too many, we leave less room for the things that truly matter. We live in a culture that tells us more equals better, more clothes, more gadgets, more status. But the irony is, the more we own, the less we actually use. Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about clarity. It's not saying, I can't have this. It's saying, I don't need this. Sasaki shares how his own life shifted when he began letting go, not just physically, but emotionally. Each item he released was a little more space, a little more peace, a little more room to breathe. One of the most confronting questions this book asks is, who are you without your things? We often use possessions as identity, the clothes that signal our style, the books that show our intelligence, the gadgets that suggest our status. But when you let go of these props, something unexpected happens. You begin to see yourself more clearly, not as what you own, but as who you are. That realization can feel uncomfortable at first, like stepping into an empty room. But over time, you find that emptiness isn't hollow. It's spacious. It's alive. Minimalism, as Sasaki describes it, isn't about counting objects or living in a bare white room. It's about joy. When you keep only what you truly value, your life becomes a gallery of meaning. Every item left carries a story, a purpose, or a delight. Nothing is there just because. The joy of less is not in losing, but in gaining. More time, more focus, more freedom. You realize that the fewer distractions you carry, the easier it is to walk toward what really matters. And in that simplicity, life feels lighter than you thought possible. Sasaki shows us that letting go isn't a one-time act. It's a practice. It starts small. One drawer, one shelf, one box you've been ignoring in the corner of your closet. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Every object seems to whisper, you might need me someday. But as you release each thing, something happens. The fear weakens, the space grows, and what once felt like loss begins to feel like relief. Minimalism isn't about perfection, it's about movement. Step by step, you find yourself lighter, and each small act of letting go becomes an act of trust in yourself and in life. One of the most surprising lessons of minimalism is how much of our clutter is made of stories. The shirt you never wear, but keep because it was expensive. The book you never read, but keep because you might someday. The souvenirs you don't care about, but hold because they prove a memory happened. These things don't just take space, they tie you to old versions of yourself. They anchor you to identities you've outgrown. When you let them go, you're not erasing the past. You're simply saying, I am not defined by what I keep. I am free to change. I am free to begin again. Another shift Sasaki describes is how minimalism transforms relationships. When you stop pouring energy into buying, storing, and managing things, you create space for people. Conversations become richer when you're not distracted by the chase for the next possession. Time becomes fuller when it's not consumed by shopping or organizing. And slowly you discover that connection, not consumption, is what nourishes you. Minimalism doesn't make life emptier. It makes love and community easier to see because you're no longer hiding behind piles of objects. You're showing up as yourself, open and present. At its heart, goodbye. Things is not about objects at all. It's about happiness. The happiness that comes when you realize you already have enough, that you don't need the next purchase, the next upgrade, the next decoration to be whole. Sasaki writes from his own experience. A small apartment, very few possessions, but a life that feels full. And what he reminds us is that freedom is rarely found in addition. It's almost always found in subtraction. The joy of minimalism isn't in what you lose, but in what you gain. Clarity, gratitude, and the quiet realization that this moment, right here, is already complete. Goodbye. Things is a reminder that letting go isn't about deprivation. It's about discovering how light life can feel when you no longer carry what you don't need. If any part of this resonated with you, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book. Reading Sasaki's own journey is like sitting with a friend who has chosen simplicity and is gently inviting you to do the same. And if you enjoy reflections like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Books for Thoughts. Each week, we share soul-nourishing breakdowns that guide you back to what matters most: clarity, freedom, and the courage to live lightly. Until next time. Let go, breathe deep, and remember, you already have enough.